All right. It's a new month and a new theme for the month. Welcome to Juicy June. So this month we are focusing on all things that will position you as the it person in your industry, thus making your experience and your results extra juicy. So when I say juicy, I mean good, not just good, but good, interesting, enticing, exciting, right? All the things that we want as business owners. It's not just like mundane, plateaued, run of the mill. It's like, ooh, things are exciting right now. There's momentum building. People are coming out of the woodwork. Things are popping off. We can just feel the energy. That is juicy. So in this episode, to kick us off for the month, I am breaking down what I have found to be key commonalities that my clients who are absolutely killing it right now all share. Okay. So I'm working with a few groups of women. I currently have 3 masterminds, like my main mastermind, and then 2 mini masterminds happening. So I'm working with several women in that capacity, and they're all slaying in their own right. And we'll talk about that because they put themselves in the room and they're doing the work, every single one of them. But there are a few of them that their results are starting to catch up to their behavior, right? Their results, the vision is starting to come to fruition. And what I'm doing in this episode is I'm going to be discussing what I have found upon reflection of these women, what I have found that they have in common, because success leaves clues. And every single one of these things that I will be sharing, you can do too. And I know that it's going to lead you into your juiciest season in 2024 yet. Okay, so let's get into it. Welcome to All In with Allie, the podcast for online business owners and entrepreneurs who are ready to create the life and business of their dreams. I'm so happy you are here. Okay, so as I record this, yesterday was a pretty big day for some of my clients. You know, we're always celebrating some sort of milestone, whether that be the launch of a new course or the official pivot from, a job or a business that they don't love into a job or a business that they do love, going viral on a post or hitting an amount of sales or having some sort of successful launch or launching in general. We're always celebrating something. But yesterday was interesting because 3 of my clients had 5-figure days, cash days. Okay, so not projected sales, cash days. So there was a 10K day, there was a 13K day, and a 22K day. For 3 of my clients, they were all launching something. And actually one of them wasn't. She just threw out an idea, which we love to do. and boom, 10K. So that's exciting, right? Because we love cash, we love results. But when you can have a day like that, it puts wind in your sails. And that was very exciting. And it prompted me to make this post on Instagram because I was so happy for them, right? Because when you experience a high sales day, it obviously it changes the course of your month. Sometimes it can change the course of your entire year just in one day. And to me, this is one of the coolest parts of our industry is these things happen. Right? Like there's no ceiling, there's no cap to the amount of revenue and impact that we can make in our respective businesses. But the fact that that can happen, like somebody's monthly revenue, somebody's quarterly revenue or income can be earned in a single day is so cool. So cool. So anyway, I did this post where I was like, okay, what are the commonalities? Like, is there anything among these women that number 1 is duplicatable and number 2 that they have in common, right? Like that I believe as their coach, as somebody who is working very closely with each of these women, what are the commonalities that I believe led to having a day like this. And I have to say too, high figure days are very exciting, right? And they will happen. They're going to happen for you. They're going to happen for everybody. They're a perk of, again, our industry, like I just said. But they're not, I mean, it just so happened this was an interesting event that I was like, oh, cool. Let me play with this. Like, again, what are some factors that I know about these women that no doubt led to having a day like this? But this by no means that just because they've had a high figure day means that they're more successful than my other clients who haven't had a high figure day, right? Because oftentimes there's no difference between somebody that just so happened to have a really awesome, lucky, I say lucky, but luck has nothing to do with it because you put yourself in that position. But at the same time, sometimes you have the days where everybody just moves that day or multiple people just move that day, right? So just because more people paid a higher amount and moved in their world, it doesn't make them better or more, quote, successful, or it doesn't mean they have more potential for success than my other clients who didn't have a high revenue day, right? It's revenue. Whether it comes in a month or it comes in a day, it doesn't matter, right? Revenue is revenue. But it was just an interesting event that prompted this idea. So if you're listening to this and you're like, damn, I've never had a 10K day. I've never had a $100 day or whatever. Don't feel bad, right? It's just, these things happen every once in a while. And you can grow a business where you experience very consistent 5-figure days, high 5-figure days. People do it all the time. And we get to build businesses up to that. But in the beginning, and as you're kind of getting started, in most cases, they're few and far between, right? It's more of like a steady run. Or if you're launching, you might get jolts of revenue. So anyway, my point in sharing that is I don't want anybody listening to this, whether you're one of my clients that didn't have a 5-figure day, or you're somebody who's listening and feel bad that you've never experienced this, or you're not experiencing this right now. Because what I want to share the commonalities that these 3 people just happen to have in common. That's what a commonality is. And you to hear, and what I would love is if you hear something, you're like, wait, I do that. I prioritize that. Like best case scenario, you hear this list and you're like, okay, I'm on the right track. Slay. Or you hear some of these and you're like, wait, that's the thing that I'm missing. Or that's one of the things that I'm missing. If you're watching the recording, it looks like I'm crying, but I'm not. I just about choked. Or you hear some of these and you're like, oh, okay, here's a gap that I get to work on filling. Okay. So just take it in, feel into it. This is all meant to help us. This is all meant to add to the juiciness of our experience of being an online business owner and what we get to create as leaders of each of our businesses. So again, 3 different women, commonalities, but what's also cool about this is they're in 3 different industries. They each have a different level of online business experience. One of these ladies has been in business online for less than 6 months. She had a business prior and she's had experience, but in terms of creating offers and launching, she's relatively new and killing the freaking game. So here is what I found to be similar to each of these ladies that have experienced this exciting 5-figure day. The first thing, they know the value that they bring to their clients and they charge accordingly. So when I am working with women and we're creating their offers, and when I say offer, what I mean is it could be a course, it could be a mastermind, a masterclass, anything that you bring forward and you sell or you offer to not only make money in your business, but obviously to provide a transformation for your clients, that's an offer. And one of the things that I find myself helping women work through the most is this, I don't know if we can call it maybe stress, anxiety, lack of confidence, comparison for sure, related to the prices that they charge. And this makes sense. And it's so common across the board. But again, what I notice with these women is they've taken the drama out of it, or they work through it quickly. And that, like in this list, I'm going to be sharing 7 things with you in this list. And I would say the common thread with each of these 7 things, it's not that each of these things I'm about to read to you, it's not that they have no issue with it. It's not that they just naturally come to the table knowing what to charge and feeling no mind drama about it. The commonality among the 7 things in this list is if they have an issue with one of these things, they seek support, hence why they're in one of my groups. They are vulnerable, they talk about it, they receive the guidance and support, and they move through it quickly. There's no like, yeah, I don't know, I'm unsure, I'm nervous, I'm whatever. They don't drag their feet. They get the support. They allow themselves to get to the breakthrough that they need to see the other side, to see the other perspective. And then they say, okay, I get it. So again, the first thing on this list is they understand the level of transformation and the level of expertise that they are bringing via their different offers, whether it's a low ticket or a mid ticket or a high ticket, doesn't matter. They understand that what they bring to the table is unique because they are the one who's offering it, and they care, and they know the value and what's in it for their client. And they also know their numbers, and they know what the price point needs to be for it to sustain their lifestyle and their business so that they can stay in business. So it's not even a question of like, I just want to charge blah, blah, blah. It's like, if I run this and I'm able to, and I want to show up as high level as I possibly can and give the amount of support that I want to, the price needs to be this in order to be sustainable in my business. So they understand, they take the emotion out of it. They get support, and then they charge accordingly. Hence why they each put themselves in a position to have such a high figure day, because they have offers that allow for them to do that. So that's the first thing. The second thing that each of these women have in common are their boundaries. They are a priority to them. They are clearly set and they are clearly implemented. This is a big one. I will say, out of, let's see, let me just look through this list real quick. I will say out of this list, this one in particular, the boundaries, is one of the fastest things that you can do to make you a match for a bigger business, that can make you a match for more people coming into your world and working with you. But if you have really loose boundaries and everybody can access you, and you allow for people to take advantage of you and take advantage of your time, you allow yourself to be underpaid and overworked, then you are quite literally a match for a very small business, right? You don't have the foundation. You don't have the mindset that will allow for you to grow, to take on more, or to take on higher level. So this one is super, super, super important. And also, I will say this one is probably one of the areas that I am also working through so often with the women that I work with, because as women, unfortunately, we're kind of conditioned in a lot of different ways to give it all and to be generous and to be kind and to be empathetic. And it's not that we don't want to be those things, but there's a fine line between being those things and it directly impacting and negatively affecting your business. You can be kind and empathetic while also upholding and respecting your business in your time and your other clients that are paying for your time, right? And people in your life who also want some of your time. So I'm always talking about this, and this is something that I myself have historically struggled with, and I'm working through often as well. So if this is something that you struggle with, just know that you aren't alone. But these women, what I noticed is even if they do have an issue, they bring it to me. They say, hey, I have a client doing this thing and I don't love it and I don't really know how to address it. Or I keep getting hit up. This is a big one. People keep hitting me up in DMs and requesting coaching in the DMs, and they keep asking me question after question, but they won't work with me. They won't pay me. What do I do? So they come to me with these issues and we work through them. But instead of overthinking it and then dragging their feet, they get the breakthrough and they implement that new boundary and they practice it and they keep it. And again, it makes such a difference in your own self-respect. Like it makes a difference in your time. It makes a difference in your energy, probably makes a difference in your sales, but it's the self-respect thing. Like, you know what it feels like to allow people to walk on you. And when you know that you're allowing people to walk on you, that affects how you feel about yourself. That affects your overall frequency as a human, which is going to affect everything in your business. So if this is an area that you struggle with, it's okay. It's normal, but clean it up, get support with it, and then do the work, because it's going to make night and day difference. Okay. Number 3, each of these women I've noticed sell boldly, sell often, and sell unapologetically. Unapologetically. Each woman sells boldly, often, and unapologetically. So what's cool about this one is at least 2 of these women that I'm like thinking back how we've worked together, they struggled immensely with this one. This was something that felt very unnatural to them, that they were apologetic about it. They didn't want to be too, quote, salesy. They didn't want to, bother people or whatever. This is something that they struggled with big time. But now, again, that they've gotten practice and they understand that this is their job, right? If you are growing an online business and you use social media as a platform to market yourself and as a platform to get leads and to sign clients or sell products or whatever your business is, your office and part of your tasks is to put yourself out there and sell. And the more often that you do it, and the more boldly that you do it, and the less you apologize about doing your job, the more that people won't be distracted by all that energy. They'll hear what it is that you have to offer them, and the more opportunities you're giving people to buy from you. Is that not what we want? Of course, that's what we want. And also, this is one of those areas that led each of these women to having a 5-figure day, because this day or yesterday, whenever this happened, they all showed up and they just said, hey, I have this thing. Here's what's in it for you. Here's who it's for. Here's a link, or here's what to do next. And boom, it happened. But if they had shown up in a way that was apologetic, or that you could just feel that they were doubting themselves and they weren't as confident, people would see that. And unfortunately, what people see and are reading from that energy is likely not, oh, she's just feeling some type of way about selling. What people see is, oh, she seems nervous. She seems off. She must not believe in this offer. Or I don't know, this offer sounds cool, but she doesn't seem very confident about it. So maybe I don't invest that money in this thing. So you have to pay attention to the energy that you're showing up when you are selling, and taking into consideration how that can be read from other people, because it will impact what they do next with you. But each of these women, even if they've had issues before, they've come around to understanding that this is part of their job. And we don't judge and get upset when we walk into a restaurant and they're telling us what the daily special is, or when we walk into a clothing store and they're like, hey, our sales rack is over here. Have you seen this new jacket? Oh my gosh, this would look amazing on you, right? We don't get upset about all the commercials that we see again and again and again, or that we hear during podcasts. We might skip them from time to time, but we're not taking it personally or judging the business for doing what it needs to do to stay in business. So why do we think people are going to do the same to us? Why do we judge ourselves in that way? It's completely unnecessary, and it kills the vibe. And furthermore, it kills the bottom line of your business. And if anybody does have an issue with you doing what you need to do to get an offer in front of the right people and to grow and sustain your business, I know it's so commonplace to say, and we've heard it a million times, but those are not your people. They're just not. They can be your friend. They can be your acquaintance, but maybe they just don't need to be following your business, and you can show them to the door. And that's okay. But we don't let people not paying our bills get in the way of us paying our bills. Okay? Let me say that again. We don't let people not paying our bills get in the way of paying our bills. So any drama that you feel around selling unapologetically, often and boldly to your audience, we are leaving it here. We're dropping it for good. Okay. So that's the third commonality. The fourth thing that these women have in common that I noticed is before they were having 5-figure days and before they were seeing the financial success that each of them are seeing in their own ways, they were showing up this way prior. Okay. So I happen to know the back end of their business because I'm their current mentor. But if I had seen them prior to knowing what their revenue looks like, if I was just a random person scrolling across their stories, I would see them and I would assume they are successful. I would assume they have clients. I would assume they have been in business for years because that's how they carry themselves. They don't show up. Even my client who's been doing this for less than 6 months, I've been, following her and seeing her stuff for a few months now. And I would never see her stuff and be like, oh yeah, she's new. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. She's a little green. It's okay. No, she carried herself, even if she didn't necessarily know how to market in the most effective way, right? Even if there were some disconnects there in terms of how like the graphics she would put out or the offers in which she was selling, her energy, her vibe was that of success and confidence and expertise in her industry. Do you know who people want to hire? They want to hire experts in whatever thing that they need support in. And that's how they all show up. So yeah, now they're earning, again, 5-figure days, whatever. Like the money is there, but it's not all of a sudden like they're all like, ooh, now I can be confident online. Now I can show up and now I can be unapologetic. Now I can sell boldly. Now I can claim and finally feel like I know what it is that I'm talking about. They've all been doing that, which is why they had the 5-figure day and all the other sales that they've earned and will continue to earn because they've been a match for that, because they carry themselves as a 5-figure per month business owner, as a multi-6 to 7-figure business owner. They do that right now. Okay. The fifth thing that these women have in common is they make quick decisions and rarely overthink it. This is a big one. This is one of those tips that you hear some people say, or at least like I've heard people talk about this before. And it's one of those, it's like it doesn't feel like a hack. It doesn't feel like it's super implementable. So it's one of those that's very easy to be disregarded. But when I tell you this is a big one. This demonstrates so many different things. Like it's very loaded in that it indicates the level of confidence that somebody has. It indicates the level of belief somebody has in their own decisions, in the vision that they're moving toward. Overthinking is simply, number one, too much time on your hands. And number two, a lack of confidence, a lack of experience will lead to overthinking, or fear. Fear will lead to overthinking. Scarcity will lead to overthinking. And what I noticed is, and this is one of the ones out of this list that I tend to struggle with the most, because if you've had a lower season in your business, then yeah, fear is a little bit more easy to creep in, at least that I've noticed. So then it's, and also when you have a larger business, you also have more to lose. So it feels like making decisions quickly and swiftly and without overthinking, it feels like that could almost be irresponsible. But what I found and how I reflect on this is how I got here in the first place was by moving quickly. How I put myself in this position was by having a vision that was not yet proven, simply basing my confidence based on what other people have done, right? If they can do it, I can do it. They're not more worthy than me. They're not more special than me. They might have more experience. They might have more skill right now, but it's nothing that I can't adopt and create on my own. So like I built this business on making bold decisions quite quickly because I didn't have the luxury of time to overthink. And that's what got me here. And not every decision was a banger, but also sometimes making the quote unquote wrong decision is one of the best things that you can do, because you learn, okay, that's a hot stove. I don't want to touch that anymore. Or, okay, that led me to this thing, which led me to this even better thing, like it's all working out for us. So that's how I work through this. It's like, okay, yes, there are so many different ways that this can go. Yes, this could not be the best decision. This may not be the quote right decision, but a decision needs to be made. And at some point, I need to trust my gut, right? I need to trust, as a woman, one of our most divinely given gifts, which is the gift of our intuition. I need to utilize it, and I need to move, and I need to stop letting these little things slow me down, because it's usually like the tiny things, right? And what I found is the faster that you move, the faster that you learn, and the faster that you can get to the wisdom of that decision. And then it's another decision to make, and so on and so forth. So what I noticed about the women that I'm referring to in this episode is they get support. It's not that things don't hold them up, but they will weigh, pros and cons. Like they'll take a beat, maybe a day or so, but then when they decide, and their decision carries a weight of definitiveness of like, okay, this is my decision. And I decide right now, this is the best decision that I can make, right? Like, I don't know if it's going to work out, but I'm deciding right now that however it turns out is going to be one of the best things that ever happens to me. There's like that level of commitment and decision, do you have power behind the decision? Each of these women have this trait. This sixth commonality between these women is they've all had low sales month. We've all had low sales months. This is normal. This is part of it, right? Business is like a wave. It's going to go up and down. It's going to ebb and flow, especially if you zoom in. It looks like a crazy ass roller coaster. Ideally, when we zoom out and we look at the years, we see an upward trajectory. But on the way up, there's a lot of up and down. So they've experienced these low sales months. I've been with them through low sales months. And what I noticed about them that sometimes is different than other women that I've worked with is, while the low sales can temporarily get them down, can bum them out a little bit, it's no doubt frustrating, right? These women aren't robots. We have feelings, right? We feel some type of way when we're experiencing a low business month. This is fine. But what I noticed about them is they're still able to not only keep their focus on their greater vision and on the results that they want, right? They're able to step back and say, yeah, like maybe today I'm not at my goal. Maybe this month I didn't hit my goal, but it's a blip on the radar. Of course it's going to happen. I don't know exactly when it's going to happen, but of course it's going to happen. There's not a part of me that doubts that. So they're able to hold the vision of what it is that they're creating and where they're headed. But more importantly, they continue to act in alignment with that vision, with that goal, versus what a lot of us do, and I certainly am guilty of this from time to time. You're working toward a goal. You're headed in the direction of your vision. Things don't go as swimmingly as you hoped, or you're not hitting the goal fast enough, or people aren't responding in the way that you had hoped. Therefore, you start to kind of like veer off track. You say, okay, what would be a more safe thing? Okay, I was going for this big goal, but it doesn't seem to be happening. So what's something else I can do to save myself from the embarrassment of this big thing, or to save myself from if this revenue doesn't come, right? We start playing to and catering to a worst case scenario and something that we don't want to happen. We start preparing for a worst case scenario, which is what you don't want to do, right? What you focus on grows, where you're headed. So you've heard, I'm sure, the metaphor of like, when you're driving, you're focused straight ahead of you. You're focused in the direction that you want to go. And if you look off to the side and you look long enough, you're going to start turning your car and it's going to start veering in that direction. This is the same exact thing. You have a vision, you have a goal that you're working toward, you commit to it, and you stay committed no matter what the path looks like. You might be going uphill, you might be going downhill, it may be super curvy and making you nauseous and pissed off a little bit. There might be traffic slowing you down, right? But if you start looking off towards something that you don't want, and you start veering off and continue focusing on that, you're going to hit nowhere near your goal. You're going to hit nowhere near your vision. So again, what we want is to be able to manage our emotions and hold our emotions without letting the vision go. We can do both things. We can have feelings and emotions and feel however we feel while still remaining dedicated to the thing that we came here to do. And these women do a fantastic job at that, which is so much easier said than done in real time, but they do it. Okay. And then the seventh and final commonality that these women share that I have found, I'm sure there are more, is while each of them are an expert in their respective fields and in their industry, they have experience, doing what it is that they're doing. One's a health coach. One is like a business mindset coach. The other is an attorney and author. So like they each have their own thing, but what they didn't have and what they weren't an expert in was how to create offers that are in alignment with their vision and in alignment with what they wanted to put out and what their ideal clients wanted. And they weren't professionals and experts in how to sell and launch, right? I shared in the beginning, they all had their own stuff when it came to their pricing, when it came to showing up and selling boldly and unapologetically and putting themselves online. It's one thing to run a business. It's another thing to then switch and run a business online. It comes with its own mixed bag of tricks that you got to learn and also become an expert at. But if you want to grow an online business, that's part of the job, right? If you want to get leads and sell people online, you got to show up and you got to sell online. If you want to grow a sustainable business online, there are things that you have to learn there. So they had their level of expertise in their fields, but in online business, there was a lot of gray area and there were a lot of gaps that they could not fill, nor did they have interest, nor did they have time and energy to try and figure out on their own. They all valued their time so much that they said, okay, I have this expertise and this gift that I know that I'm meant to give to the world, but I don't know how to do that in a way that's going to sustain my business and in a way that's going to make any of this worth it to me. I could, throw things up against the wall and hope that it sticks, but I'm ready for this to work now. So I'm not going to dick around. I'm not going to peruse YouTube and look at free stuff. I'm going to invest in something that's going to teach me the skills. Hence why they ended up in my world. Hence why they ended up in one of my masterminds. And hence why they're seeing the results that they are. So I'm tooting my horn a little bit, but the fact of the matter is they could have worked with me. They could have worked with anybody, right? There are so many people out there that teach and that can help you with the things that I help you with. So if you listen to this and you're like, I need help also doing these things. I need help selling. I need help creating offers. I don't know. I've never had a successful launch. I don't know how to title my stuff. I don't know how to articulate or brand something in a way that makes people want it. If that's you and you don't want to work with me, that's fine. Go work with somebody that you align with, but please go get the support because your time is so valuable. And the more that you walk around and try and make something work that it hasn't worked yet, the more time that you're wasting. Right? And think, I want you to consider this. These women, they chose to work with me, which I'm so grateful for. And they each paid, a different amount each. But in one day, one of them quadrupled what she paid me. One of them doubled what she paid me. Right? And that's just in one day. Right? So what is your time worth it to you? And they were able to do that, not because I gave them the expertise, but because I gave them the skills and I was able to see, hey, here are the gaps. Here's where you're not showing up as confidently. Reframe this thing, reword this thing, price this way, let this lead into this thing. I supported them with the strategy component and the energy component, and that combined with their expertise created monetary success. This is what I do. This is what so many people do. So if this is an area where you're like, there's something missing, even if you don't even know what it is, talk to somebody and they can, like, I know I could support you in figuring out like, okay, here's what's missing. That's what we're here to do. And that's, a big common area with these women is they were bosses in their own way, but they weren't experts in online business. Hence why they put themselves in a room with somebody who was, and they got the support, and now they're reaping the benefits from it. Okay. So that's it. Like I said, all things that every single one of us can do. Many things, if not all of them, you're probably already doing in your own way. And, of course, like everything can be strengthened and improved. That's beautiful. So be honest with yourself, listen through, take notes, and just say, I should have said that at the beginning, but go back through, listen, and ask yourself, like, how strong am I in this area? How strong am I in this area? When you bridge these gaps, you are going to blow your mind. You are going to blow your mind. Okay. So anyway, that's all that I have for you today. I feel like this is such a great conversation to kick off Juicy June. I have so many juicy episodes coming for you this month. I'm very excited. Yeah, but it's going to be good. I'm very, very excited to keep it going. So I hope you're looking forward to this month and episodes as much as I am looking forward to giving them to you. I love you. I am cheering you on, and I will see you here next week. Bye.